Hey there, Stillwater kids, students, humans, back with another volume. I believe we are at volume 6 here of distance learning. And Pythagoras Pen is back here. She decided to come join us here for some more episodes. And I'm so glad you guys have too. We have a short assessment coming up at the end of the week, and want to make sure that that we're ready for that. Make sure you're watching the videos, you're doing the practice on Delta Math, and then you are you'll be in a good spot and you'll be ready to go by Friday. The assessment will come straight from Delta Math. It'll be same questions, just in one format, and you'll be able to take it more than one time if you don't like your score. So we got a big week ahead of us here. We got we're going to be putting it all together towards Wednesday and Thursday. Today, though, what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about, again, general form, and we're going to talk about, instead of looking at a graph and create an equation, we're going to look at some features like a verbal description and come up with an equation. So we'll get started right away here. This is our general form. If we take a peek, and here's a description or some features. It says write a cosine function, and we're going to do two problems, a mild problem and then a little bit spicier problem. So this first problem is write a cosine function that has a midline of 3, an amplitude of 5, and a frequency of 3 pi. So if we remember a couple of these spots in general form, this box out front, this is where the amplitude goes. So we're looking for the word amplitude. It says amplitude of 5. Let me grab a different color here. Okay, that's going to go up front here. Next piece here is frequency. We're going to hold off on that for a second. We'll go right to the midline, like to do the midline next. It says the midline of 3, and then we'll end with the frequency. All right, 3 pi x. Voila, we're done. That's it. We're getting a description. We're creating an equation of that trig function in general form. Now, that seems pretty straightforward, and it is. We're making sure that we understand from our previous studies what each of these spaces represent, and that's like definition of amplitude, frequency, midline. Now, here's where it gets a little bit spicier. So it starts off pretty similar. The only difference, this is a sine function. No big deal, so we use sin instead of cos. Amplitude of 2, no big deal. That goes up front. We got this. Midline of -3. Okay, no big deal. So this is -3. And then it says a period of 4/3, 4/3. Now remember, this box right here is where the frequency goes, not where the period goes. So we have to go back to our previous studies. And I'm going to show you here how to find the frequency. So if we look from our previous studies, frequency, here's how we find it. We take 2 pi and we divide it by the period. Okay, so basically what we have to do here, let me zoom in on this just a little bit. We're going to need to set this up and simplify it. 2 pi divided by 4/3. Let's go full screen on this. So we want to simplify this a little bit. What do? We don't cry, we invert and multiply. So basically we're going to invert this fraction and we're going to multiply it by the top. Now the top's not a fraction, no big deal. So let's just make this 2 pi into a fraction. So let's just go down here. So that's 2 pi over 1. We can always make it into a fraction. Times 3/4. What do? We multiply everything on top. 6 pi over 4. We can simplify a little bit more. We're not done. There's a factor of 2 in each of these. 2 goes into 6 3 times, goes into 4 2 times. So final 3 pi over 2. So what did we just find there? We found the frequency. So this is from our previous studies. To find the frequency, we take 2 pi divided by the period. Okay, this number now is the number that we want to put into right up here. So it goes right here. So 3 pi over 2. This is about as spicy as it gets. Couple things to be aware of. If you have a reflection, this is going to be negative. We talked about that. That just means the order of our curve is opposite. So instead of sine and cosine starting and moving high, they go low. They just reverse their operations. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward today. Big goal to make equations given features. Good luck, everybody. Please go on and do your delta math. Until next time, my friends, stay clean, wash your hands, disinfect your phones, and most importantly, be kind. Penny, anything? I think she's done. Bye now.